There's a part of me that's saying, why is he not the strongest right now? When Kobe said he was part of Sword, it's almost like he was alerting Aokiji like, yo, this is your chance. What can you do? Now, Aokiji, he played along. He said, oh, we're on break again next week, which again, we don't get mad at, oh, the breaks. But all right, my people, it's time for us to have a dialogue, all right? Because the last time we had 2 chapters of this epic proportion was probably 956 and 957. Funny enough, Shanks and Garp were both involved in those chapters, so I guess it isn't any coincidence. I was having a conversation with, I think it was Sai or King of Lightning, talking about what characters would have to be involved for the community to kind of just break, right? What impact or what galaxy impact would someone, anyway, it was going somewhere. It didn't end up materializing. Either way, we'll double back to that. One Piece chapter 1080. I don't know exactly what to say, but we gonna get there. Even in the midst of everything epic happening in the last 2 chapters, it still somewhat feels like set up for greater things. We know this is not the end of Shanks' journey. This is not the end of whomever's journey was left after that rubble, after Garp's amazing attack. I gotta clear something up really quickly, right? Because people are turning this into Garp versus Akainu just right away, because Garp said he was going to destroy Akainu at Marineford. And that's the conversation we would have. It's something we cannot explore. And we're on break again next week, which again, we don't get mad at, oh, the breaks. But you see what I'm saying? Either way, we'll discuss it over the break week. It's not a Garp versus Akainu thing, because people are trying to separate the two. I see what y'all are trying to do now, okay? There are people that don't like the Marines, been just talking smack about the Marines for the longest time. And so they're trying to separate Garp from the, Garp is a Marine. Okay?
Okay.
If we talk about a Marine agenda and Yonko agenda, Garp is a Marine. If you want to break it down, he's a Vice Admiral, an Admiral. So you got to keep the same energy. You can't jump around like that. He's a Marine. Don't like the Marines now. A lot of my support of the Marines is to make the story more interesting. Garp indeed makes the story more interesting. I want to see God Valley at this point now. I would like to see young Garp. Oda did tease or mention that could be a storyline that he could write a lot about, a young Garp and his growth. And Garp, it gave signs of Luffy at the end. I know I'm skipping forward, but god damn it, that's what we want to talk about, right? Now we're gonna hold off a little bit. What you got to do to see it though, subscribe to the channel, then we can get to it. But now let's talk about just the epic chapter that is chapter 1080, okay? Because there's a lot to get into, so let's get to it. Kobe, I don't know how Oda does it. I don't know how Kobe gets to the point that he's on the level of people like Luffy, even his mentor Garp. He's already a 5-star bounty Marine, which makes sense considering the lore around him. I don't think he gets kudos for this, but I think people that were there, they understand the impact that Kobe made in Marineford. For the most part, his efforts stopped the war, right? It was Shanks. But Kobe and his stand against Akainu shows just the mettle that young kid had. And so for someone like Shanks to step in and save Kobe, people that were there, they understand the type of person that Kobe was. So I think Kobe gained some cachet from Marineford unofficially, from the people that were there. So they understand what he brings to the table. And of course, the Rocky Port incident, there's a lot more going on, and he got the moniker hero. The only other person who got it is Garp, the legendary hero. Kobe is the modern day version, or the modern day, we would think, the heir apparent to who Garp is. So Garp showing up and saving this guy, it's no coincidence. We knew, I mean, he said he was gonna do it. I did not think Garp would face Blackbeard, because I didn't think it would make much sense, because Garp can't be Blackbeard. I know, we're over the moon, right? I know it's a galaxy impact and we're over the moon, but we gotta slow down, okay? We gotta slow down. And it's funny coming from me, I know, because I was going crazy about Shanks last week. Here's a major difference. Here's the major difference between Garp this week and Shanks last week. Garp is out of his prime, baby.
Slow and old.
He's no longer in his prime. If this was prime Garp, I'd be saying prime Garp is top 1. If this was prime Garp, because he's older, he can muster this up every now and again. But this Galaxy Impact, I don't think Garp can flex like that all the time. Rayleigh already gave us the blueprint of old dudes. Their stamina ain't the same. They can't stroke it like they used to. Huh? The Galaxy Impact I'm talking about. So it comes down to, at this point, where do you think Garp stands in the world? Like, it's not a lot of people that can stand up against Garp, but that's how it was regardless. We have to temper our expectations and slow down in regards to where we put him off of just an attack. There's a lot of characters, I'm not saying Garp is in this category, just an example. There's a lot of characters that got crazy attacks, crazy abilities, but in the midst of a battle, so many different things come into play. Stamina is one of them. Durability is one of them. I'm not sure how great that is for Garp, but we knew for Garp, and from to stand against someone like Roger and the others, they have weapons, right? They're physical, they're monsters. And for Garp to be only using his fist to stand against those guys had to be a Haki man. He had advanced conquerors here, right? His impact, his Ryo, the impact of it destroyed an entire town. It's a part of me, I'm not gonna lie. There's a part of me that's saying, why is he not the strongest right now? There's a part of me that's saying that because look at what he just did, straight Haki. But this is how you compete. You have to build up yourself to compete against the powerhouses. I used to say, how can Shanks compete against Kaido and Big Mom? They're monsters, literally. But how can Garp compete against those guys? Roger, Whitebeard. I start to think about, yo, Whitebeard knew what he was walking into. With Garp, with Akainu, with the admirals. He knew that he was walking into his funeral. He knew that. Because there's no way he thought me walking in there, it wasn't gonna trigger something where someone like Garp and Sengoku get involved. Also, put some respect on Sengoku's name. Put some respect. I'm tired of it. Sengoku gets like dismissed every single time because bro, it's all about Garp. Sengoku is a fleet admiral. Sengoku was personally requested by Gold Roger, saying if he wants a challenge. Put some respect on, listen. For the old man trio, I'm always gonna have respect for them. Like, they're never gonna fall out of my top 30 for moments like this. Now, where they land within that, it's hard to say, but this is probably the most impressive Haki feat in the series thus far. And I'm not exaggerating. Straight Haki destroyed an entire city. Like, if you just moved into the city, right? Say you just moved into the city, right? You just moved from Whole Cake Island, looking for a new life, a better life. Blackbeard just offered a deal of a lifetime. You moved in, right? You're a carpenter. And you're building different houses in the city. And then you look up, you see a ball, right? You see a ball, an old man in the sky. And this old man got his fist balled up. And all you hear is, Galaxy Impact. And now a whole year's worth of work is gone, right? Either way, your house is gone too. You're just a carpenter. You're just looking for a new life. Either way, that guy is screwed because Garp just came out of nowhere. Galaxy Impact is over. I think what I liked about this chapter the most is the dynamic amongst the Blackbeard pirates. That's a lie. The most thing I like about the chapter is Aokiji. Aokiji is fantastic this chapter. Fantastic in regards to his character, and it gave me hope. Like, I felt like Doflamingo walking away, and I was looking at him like, you're not really like that. You're not really like that. You're not really like that. Like, I know there's other things going on. You're not fooling me, bro. I'm familiar with your game. There's no way that Aokiji, everything that he was doing, you believe that? You believe that Aokiji was actually trying to get rid of Kobe? Yo, what Aokiji said about Sword is partially true. Yeah, they're a faction of the Marines. They don't necessarily need approval. If anything happens and the Marines do it, they can't just be like, oh, they're not really. They're still a part of the Marines. Blackbeard saw through it though, but I like the tactic. When Kobe said he was part of Sword, it's almost like he was alerting Aokiji like, yo, this is your chance. What can you do? Now, Aokiji, he played along. He said, oh, nah, Teach, you gotta let him go. He ain't gonna rock. He not gonna rock, Teach. You gotta let him go. That's why Teach, smart man. I think he's smarter than he looks. No, he's definitely smarter than he looks. He said, nah, he's the hero. They're not just gonna let him rock. Now, the timelines are kind of messed up, right? Because Kobe was looking at it as a flashback, so we're not really sure who's here. I'm of the mindset that it's not time for Blackbeard and Garp to meet yet. But there's a scenario here, right? There's a scenario here which would make sense for Blackbeard and Garp to meet. But for Garp fans, a lot of Garp fans, it's not gonna be a scenario you would like to hear because it doesn't end well for Garp. I know. I saw it too, and I'm losing my mind. I saw it. But bruh, let's be real. Garp is not beating Blackbeard. He's a devil fruit user, the yami. Why do we always go to that when we talk about Blackbeard, the yami? Like, you don't got a whole goddamn earthquake in the other hand. Like, he's not physically strong enough to permanently scar someone like Shanks, who a lot of people last week were saying is top 1, but now Shanks is in top 1. Blackbeard back in the day without Yami, without Guru, was able to scar Shanks. Now we're saying that Garp can beat someone who can scar Shanks permanently? Out of his prime? Self-proclaimed? Not saying he's half as strong, but he can only throw a cannonball half as strong as used to in the past. So that's what we're saying. Listen, the old guard, they're strong, and Oda said specifically in SBS he has respect for old men. That's why he portrays them that way. But we gotta temper our expectations. Garp is a monster, but he's old. The scenario that I was talking about, right? The scenario is basically you hitting that sub button for real. Nah. The scenario I'm talking about is Garp is used as leverage, because that's what Blackbeard is trying to do. He's trying to use Kobe as leverage so that he can somewhat force his way into Mary Joa for his master plan. What is his master plan? I think is pretty obvious, but we'll talk about that. Blackbeard is smart, man. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going through this chapter and I'm like, Blackbeard is a menace. He is despicable. He is an absolute menace in regards to everything he has planned for the world. When I was reading everything he was saying, I was like, yo, this doesn't match up for me. It doesn't make sense. But let's talk about the Blackbeard pirates a little bit, okay? Aokiji standing there next to Blackbeard is terrifying, first off, because I'm like, Aokiji seems like he's really working with Blackbeard. Seeing Blackbeard's commanders and their devil fruits, yo, he's gonna be hard to beat. He has an island fruit guy, an island boy. Then he got a liquor human. Then we can't forget about the warp, the strong. Then he just got an invisible man. Samwon Wolf just ate a giant fruit. It's like he got a bunch of people on his crew that are so formidable. Low key looking at him and their dynamic, I'm scared for Shanks. I'm scared for Shanks and those pirates because these boys are buffed. How these fruits are gonna operate in regards to combat, Aval Pazar, I don't know how he'd work on a ship, right? On an island, he'd be a monster. Support like Pika, but better. I don't know how he'd work on a ship, you feel me? Would he just control the ship at that point? But that's not an island necessarily. So the specifics of that, we got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried that Law might be gone. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's the case, but I absolutely love the Marines that were introduced in this chapter. They were introduced before, but showing their abilities, right? So we had Sadie, but upgraded. The whip human. It seems like the whip can control different things around her, right? So it's an insane ability. But I think my favorite, other than Garp, obviously, and that impact that he had, but my favorite was Prince Groose. That might be a lie. Because Hibari-chan. Okay. Before this chapter, I made a video talking about Sandman. Shout out to my guy Sandman AP. He was saying that Hibari, in that chapter, she was introduced with Doll and all that, saying that Hibari, her dialect was very similar, right? Very similar to a Kainu. So, yo, what perfect irony and just things coming full circle if Hibari and Kobe got together and they got to go sit down at Thanksgiving with a Kainu, right? Like this picture, right? A Kainu, he'd call Hibari like, yo, Hibari-chan, you got to come home. It's Thanksgiving. It's tomorrow. She's like, yo, Pops, I don't want to come home. I'm with my boyfriend. He's like, you got to bring him. He's like, Pops, but it's, he hang up the phone. Now they're at the door and Kobe shows up. A Kainu tries to Mago him right away because he's like, yo, what are you doing here? You can't bring him here. You can't bring the pink mama to my house. She's like, Pops, what do you want me to do? That's my boyfriend. Kobe clapping cheeks. I don't know. But either way, Hibari, she's my favorite. First of all, she's addressing the fact that he could be hungry. She made him some lunch. The aim is crazy. The fit is despicable, and she's kawaii. Okay, so it's so much there with Hibari that I was feeling. I was like, yo, we got to do a top 15 One Piece girls, One Piece women ASAP. I think this chapter encapsulated everything that Egghead has been so far. Unpredictable, mysterious, epic, hype, old dudes showing up, mysterious characters coming through and showing what they can do. Like Rayleigh, even without doing anything, he proved his mettle, right? Let Blackbeard walk away. Oda is low-key telling us exactly where Garp stands in the world, even in comparison to someone like Rayleigh. Rayleigh came and off his reputation, he kind of shut stuff down, right? Garp off his reputation had dudes in the chapter saying, yo, run away. That's almost like the fourth Hokage in Naruto, right? Wasn't it run on sight? If he came across the yellow flash, he pulled up, they said, run away, right? You saw Shiryu, he was like, oh, damn it. It wasn't only run away. Garp said, I don't give a damn about any of that. I'm destroying everything you built. King what? I destroyed God Valley where they had real gods. I'm impressed. The Garp stocks are high, but I do think they could go away. They could plummet shortly. If Blackbeard is in Egghead. If Blackbeard is at Hachinosu, there's problems with Garp. And again, the timeline is a bit wonky because that was a flashback Kobe was talking about with Aokiji and all the crew members there. Blackbeard, from what we know, he was with some dudes fighting against Law. The people that we saw there, we did not see in this chapter. That leads me to believe Blackbeard is not there. I mean, from the beginning, I did not think Garp would meet Blackbeard because it just doesn't make sense because I'm not ready to see old dude get folded yet. It's not time for that. It's not time for that. And I don't want to see that, quite frankly. Garp is the hero. I don't want to see that. But Blackbeard is not losing to Garp, ladies and gentlemen. He's not his counter. Haki's not Blackbeard's counter. You just do well against Blackbeard considering you don't have a devil. You do better, but you don't counter Blackbeard. The Yami can still work. You can still ingest different things and send it out. Kurozu can still pull you forward and then he can still attack you with that Gura no Mi. So at the end of the day, Oda's in his bag. He's on break next week, but I think after your pen get on fire like that, your hands, they gotta cool down a little bit. You feel me? Gotta cool down a little bit. Either way. Also, if you're interested in the shirt, let me know. Link in description. If Oda drops a banger next chapter, if Oda shows us Cross Guild or even Dragon doing something, the best 3-chapter drop in One Piece history. Stamp. But yeah, give me your thoughts, guys. Make sure to like the video. If you did, subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter, BrogODAce. Follow me on Instagram, BrogOD.ace. Thank you, my members. And special shout out to Condoriano, the Pirate King. Shout out to El Hoss. Also shout out to Kane Ace. We had an amazing stream yesterday. People came through, showed a lot of love, and I appreciate it so much. Link in the description. Oda been giving us a lot to work with, Playboys, and so I got y'all. Stay easy. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.